Now this is a big one. We're going to take our time. Negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 20 equals 0. Step 1 is to get x by itself. So instead of times negative 2, we're going to divide by negative 2. But if you divide by negative 2, you have to divide everything by negative 2. Everything gets divided. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1, and 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6, and negative 20 divided by negative 2 is positive 10, and 0 divided by negative 2 is 0. So all this becomes this. Now we have to clear this spot out to make the space for the correct perfect square, because 10 is not the number. So we're going to minus 10 to both sides, so do that first. Alright, so minus 10 here, minus 10 here. From there, x squared plus negative 6x equals something. We don't know what the something is, but equals something. And then, of course, x squared plus minus 6x plus something equals negative 10. So negative 6x we need to divide by 2 to get negative 3. Negative 3 times itself makes positive 9. So I have to add 9 here. Well, if I add 9 to one side, you have to add 9 to the other. Alright, so I add 9 here, add 9 here. So now I have x squared plus negative 6x plus 9 equals negative 1. Why negative 1? Because I had negative 10 and I added 9. Factor into two binomials. So it's going to be x minus 3 times x minus 3 equals negative 1. Therefore, it's x minus 3 squared. Root and square eliminate, so you have x minus 3. But here I have a square root of negative 1. Remember, you can't have the square root of negative at this juncture. Therefore, the problem ends. In Algebra 2, there's a continuance. But for now, it is the end. You try, go ahead. And the hint is first divide everything by 3. So go ahead. I don't care that this is going to be a decimal fraction. I'd keep it as a fraction, but it's up to you. Actually, no, it's not a you try. Excuse me. Let's just keep going. 3x squared minus 10x equals negative 3. Divide everything by 3. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. So I got x squared minus 10 over 3. Now again, decimal or fraction. I'm still shooting for fraction. If you got to make decimal, you're fine. You just have to do a little rounding. If you have to make a decimal, go to the 4th decimal point, and you're probably going to be okay. Anyway, to divide this by 2 though, to divide it by 2, I actually doubled the bottom. So negative 10 thirds, half of that is negative 10 over 6. Don't worry about making it into 5 thirds just yet. Now you can. Okay, well, we'll make it into 5 thirds after all. And you're going to, so in other words, half of negative 10 thirds is negative 10 sixths. Why? Because I doubled the bottom. Instead of dividing by 3, I'm dividing by 6. So that makes it half as big. And divide both by 2, I get negative 5 over 3. I still have to square it though. Take negative 5 3 times negative 5 3. Now negative 5 3 times negative 5 3, negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. 3 times 3 is 9. Therefore, it's going to be positive 25 over 9. Which means that fits in here. And positive 25 over 9 over here, positive 25 over 9 over here. I wouldn't fault you if you used your calculator to do the work here. But negative 1 plus 25 over 9 would be 16 over 9. Here this just fits in. We split them apart. Now you might say, well, what's the split? Well, basically, when you found negative 5 thirds, that is the split point. So it's going to be x minus 5 thirds times x minus 5 thirds. Like this. So x minus 5 thirds squared, and this is still 16 over 9. Root this. Remember, when you root a fraction, you root the top, root the bottom. So x minus 5 thirds equals plus positive or negative. Why positive or negative? Because remember, when you square root a number, even a fraction, it could have been 2 positives or 2 negatives. Root 16 and root 9 individually, split them up, and you get positive or negative 4 thirds. And from there, negative 5 thirds, instead of getting minus 5 thirds, you have to add 5 thirds, add 5 thirds to one side, add 5 thirds to the other, add 5 thirds here and here. So you have positive 4 thirds plus 5 thirds, and negative 4 thirds plus 5 thirds. So there's 2 separate options. Add 5 thirds to both. You get this, 2 split options. 5 thirds plus 4 thirds. 5 thirds minus 4 thirds. 9 thirds and 1 third. Well, 9 thirds equals 3. So 3 1/3, you're like, how is that possible? Plug them in and see. 3 squared is 9, times 3 is 27. 10 times 3 is 30. 27 minus 30 does equal -3 all day long. Take a look below. And over here, plug in 1/3. Well, that's a little harder, but 1/3 times 1/3 is 1/9. And 1/9 times 3 is 1/3. Minus 10 times 1/3 is 10/3, or 3 1/3. Whichever makes you happier. So 3 times 1/9 is 3/9, or 1/3, minus 10/3 equals -3. 1/3 minus 10/3 is -9/3 equals -3. -9 divided by 3 is -3 equals -3. If you have to go back and do this a couple times, this segment, please do so, because this is difficult. Quick break. And back. Problem-solving application. A landscaper is designing a rectangular brick patio. She has enough bricks to cover 144 square feet. She wants the length of the patio to be 10 feet greater than the width. In other words, 10 foot longer than the width. What dimension should she use for the patio? Round to the nearest hundredth of a foot. First, draw a rectangle. Anytime we have these kind of problems, I want you to draw out what you're doing. That way you can visually see it. I made this longer, not just because a rectangle is traditionally longer, what you would think is longer, but because it says 10 feet longer, 10 feet greater than the width. So, notice how it says that. On your box, put x plus 10. It's saying it's 10 foot longer than the side. I don't know what the side is, so the side's x. I know the length is x plus another 10 feet. So x and x plus 10, and the whole thing is going to be 144 square. So this times these two will equal 144. So x times x plus 10. Again, you want to put them together. Well, x times x is x squared. X times 10 is 10x here. And the whole thing is going to equal 144. Now we have a completing the square. We're just missing this box. What's the piece that we're missing? Well, divide this by 2. 10 divided by 2, and then take that times itself. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So I'm going to add 25 here, and I have to add 25 here. So plus 25 plus 25. Now I get x squared plus 10x plus 25 equals 169. Break this down into two binomials. Since we know the number we split up is 5, x plus 5, x plus 5, which makes x plus 5 square. And here 169 is actually 13 square, plus or minus of course. Root x plus 5, and this equals plus or minus 13. So one option is a positive 13, one option is a negative 13. And the last step here, instead of plus 5 is minus 5 over here, minus 5 over here. So we have a possibility of 13 minus 5 and negative 13 minus 5. The two options are played out. Negative 5 plus 13 is positive 8, and negative 5 minus 13 is negative 18. So let's plug them in and see which answer works. 8 certainly does. Negative 18 would fit, but you really can't have a measurement of negative 18. Therefore, since you can't have a negative measurement, this time we can't rule in negative 18. Only the 8 works in this case. So this is gone and this stays. When you plug it in, well, the width is 8 and the length is 18. And 8 times 18 does equal 144, so it works. You are done. You may want to go back over this a couple times. Ask me for help in the morning before class starts if you're having trouble. Please, please don't wait. This is one of the more challenging sections. Thanks. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.